Hey, what's up, YouTube? This is Wild Bill Kelso 194 here, and today I have a World of Warships replay video for you. Today I will be reviewing for you the USS Sampson. This is a Tier 2 American destroyer, and yeah, this is what the video is about. Um, Overall, I really like the match that I'm about to show you. It was a good match. As you're going to see, I died in the end. Spoiler alert. But that's okay. There's a lot of good stuff in store for you all to see. And of course, during the course of the video, I'll be reviewing this ship for you. Overall, it's a pretty okay destroyer for the tier twos. Certainly, there are a lot better destroyers available out there. But you know what? For what it is, I give this destroyer a B minus overall. And I'm going to go over the reasons behind that judgment as the video goes on. But yeah, I really liked this match. It was the Solomon Islands. It's a really good map. There's a lot of islands that you got to dodge in and out of that provide you cover and stuff like that. So yep. As when the match first started out, I started out at half engines at half speed, half ahead. I can't really, I don't really remember how many knots I was making. I think I was making around 14 knots, 14.4, 14.5 knots when I first started out at half ahead. But yeah, the Samson, it has a total of 2 guns plus the torpedoes that it has. Well, I mean 4 guns, and it has the torpedoes, of course. Yeah, when you use, I don't really use the guns that much when it comes to destroyers. I do when I'm desperate. For example, if my torpedoes are reloading and I'm in a really desperate spot and I have no other option, then I'll use the guns. But for the most part, when I use a destroyer, I mainly use the torpedoes. And the reason why is because when you score a hit on an enemy warship, it's actually very, very devastating. Like, if you score enough hits using torpedoes, that ship is done for. So if it's a destroyer, usually it's 1 torpedo or 2 torpedoes to take down a destroyer, but most of the time it's 1 torpedo. If it's a cruiser or a battleship or an aircraft carrier, of course, those will require a lot more torpedoes in order to sink those ships. I don't really remember the exact number of torpedoes you need to launch in order to bring down one of those higher class ships like cruisers or battleships. But I know that if you pump enough torpedoes into the hull of an enemy ship like a battleship or a cruiser, you're definitely going to sink it. But yeah, as the match, I progressed and I was going to help capture Zone Bravo, and the enemy team automatically began capturing the other two zones, A and C. But yeah, I went in. I was going in a half ahead, and the reason why I didn't want to go full ahead was because I didn't want to go so fast that I was going to end up running straight into enemy warships, a fleet of enemy warships, or go too far ahead of my allied vessels that I was going to be out there all by myself if the enemy spotted me. So as you can see here, I got my torpedoes ready, but I was out of range of that enemy warship that you saw just now. I turned to port to see if I could get a shot off. No, I determined I was way too out of range, and I also noticed this guy in front of me, so I had to be careful not to collide into him. Had to be careful not to ram him. But yep, there was an enemy ship out there. I popped off some rounds on my guns, but I don't know why I did that because I am well out of range, as you could tell. But judging as there were 3 enemy ships over there, and only 2 of us over here, and I decided it was time to turn around. And that's, as I was turning around, I noticed that there was another enemy ship due southwest. 2 enemy ships actually due southwest, which are directly behind us where we were in this little area between these islands, in between these 3 islands. So I saw that there was one of our ships taking on these 2 enemy ships competing over Zone A. So I immediately turned around and started full steam ahead. But unfortunately, as you're going to see, I didn't get there in time. And there's this guy right here, who's in between zones A and C, who's all by his lonesome. So I decided there was an enemy destroyer, and there was also an enemy. I forget if it was a cruiser or if it was a battleship over there. I forget what the exact type of ship it was that was over there. But yeah, this is how this is gonna go down. Just watch this. There's a destroyer and there's another enemy ship over there. I start going full steam ahead. I'm now making 29 knots. Trying to see if I can go around it. We already lost one of our ships, so I decided to go out there and see who was what enemy ship was there. See if I could inflict any type of damage on them. So I progressed out this way, due southwest. And as I got into the enemy zone, I noticed that you're going to see him really soon. There was an enemy cruiser sitting just in zone A, but he wasn't moving. He was just sitting there all by himself, completely not moving. He was a perfect target for me to launch. Because yep, you see him right there. You'll see him right there. An enemy cruiser just sitting there. I start popping off rounds with the guns, and I start launching torpedoes at him. And he must know I'm here. I mean, I can see him, which means he can see me, but he just did not move. He just sat there, just he just sat there, completely exposed, made no effort while I was shooting at him, as you can see here, he starts moving a little bit, but he was completely exposed. He made no effort to, help himself get out of this situation. Yeah, now he sees me. Just got the detected warning. Now he saw me. So yeah, I'm launching off salvo after salvo of torpedoes at him. I see this guy, an enemy battleship, who's now joining the fray. But yeah, just watch this. I'm firing off salvo after salvo of torpedoes. Now I'm taking fire from that enemy battleship. And the first salvo I fired completely misses him. I'm taking hits now. But the second salvo, I was actually lucky. The one torpedo from the first salvo hit him, and then the second salvo hits him successfully. And now this other salvo I'm watching, I must have launched like 5 or 6 salvos at him of torpedoes, and I think this is the last salvo that finally did him in, that did the job. Can't really tell. Yep, I think this was it. Nope, one more. Just one more salvo, and I think that'll be it. I think then he's done for. But I also have this other battleship that I got to worry about. He's firing in. Yeah, destroyer's fast, but when I just got hit by him, and now my health is down. But I managed to sink him, and now I got this battleship I got to worry about. One of the advantages of a destroyer is the fact that it's really, really fast and it's maneuverable for the most part. But there's very little armor on it. If you get broadsided by an enemy battleship or cruiser, the results can actually be pretty devastating. As you're going to see in this part of the clip right here, I decided I was going to go take on this battleship, see if I can pop off some torpedoes and see if I could score some hits on them, which I managed to do. But in the process, I ended up getting myself completely shot up, and I was actually shocked I didn't end up getting sunk myself as I took this guy on. As you can see, I'm taking fire now from him. I got hit a couple times. Luckily, it wasn't that bad, but I start firing off. My advantage here was my speed and the fact that I have torpedoes available, and I just start firing off salvo after salvo at this guy, trying to make sure that he goes down. The second salvo I launched misses. The third salvo I actually got luckier. One of the torpedoes that you see right there, it actually plows right into his stern, as you just saw right there. So I don't know really. I couldn't remember what the effect of the damage was. I know that that is definitely some serious damage getting shot in the stern right there, and I got lucky a couple more times right there. Scored 2 other hits. And now, but at the same time, I'm taking fire from him, and as you can see, it's just, yeah, you see right there, it's just utterly devastating. I am on a fraction of health right there, 1045 out of 9100 health. Yeah, it's devastating, but I fired those salvos, and luckily, I took him down. Yep, the last salvo took him down. So lucky for me, I managed to sink him, and I didn't get sunk in the process. But as you can tell, my ship, I'm on my last legs right here. It's a miracle I wasn't sunk myself as I was taking him down. And so now there was only one or two enemy ships left. I think there was just one enemy ship, three of us and one of them, and we spent the rest of the match recapturing the zones A, B, and C, and also trying to hunt this guy down. I remember him. He was an enemy cruiser, and he kept. It was like it came down to playing a game of cat and mouse. Really, we just could not find him until the very end of the match, before the time ran out. We only had like 5 or 4 minutes left before the timer on the match ran out. So I decided I was going to go over and help retake Bravo, Zone B, right there, and do that, so that way we can at least speed up the match a little bit. So unless we couldn't find the guy, at least we had zones, and we'd win faster. So yeah, we went in. I was on my way to retake Zone B. I was right at the edge of Zone B when all of a sudden, the thing popped up on the screen saying the enemy was capturing Zone A, as you're going to see in a little bit. And that's when, for me, stuff really went to hell. Pardon my language. Stuff really went down the toilet. Yeah, just watch this. I'm progressing at full speed ahead, all ahead full, making 29.5 knots, nearly 30 knots, and I'm almost to Zone B, as is this other guy in front of me. When all of a sudden, I get this message. We get this message saying the enemy's capturing Zone A, and it's me, an Allied cruiser, as you see right there, and a battleship who's all the way on the other side of the map, practically. I mean, he's north by east, and he's just completely way out of there. He's just way out of our way. He's all the way in Zone C. But I was lucky that, the damage, yeah, I'm heavily damaged, but I still had my engines and my rudder wasn't damaged. So, yep, the cruiser went in. He starts retaking Zone B. And just as I'm about to enter, I get this message you see right there on the screen. Enemy team has started to capture Area A, Zone A. So I immediately turn hard to port, make a 180-degree turn all the way around, head back southwest, heading back due southwest, because I know that where the last enemy ship is. He's in Zone A. He's trying to take Zone A from us. So I start going all ahead full, pretty soon after I recover from that turn, my speed, as you see, goes back up, and I start making 29.5 knots again. I have my torpedoes ready. I don't use my guns. I just have my torpedoes at the ready, because, that's, when you're using a destroyer, that's your most effective weapon to use against enemy warships. So yeah, I start going on one side of the island. The other guy on my team, the cruiser, he goes on the other side of the island. So we're both heading towards Zone A, which by this point, as you could tell, is captured by the enemy cruiser. So we're going this way, and the battleship, our Allied battleship, is just way far behind. He starts trying to catch up to us to hunt down this last enemy warship. And so we know we're going to win the game, but, it's just a pain in the butt, trying to find this last guy, and bring the match to an end. So, yep, I'm progressing along. I'm wondering, as I'm going this way, where exactly in Zone A is this guy? Is he out of Zone A now that he's taken it? Where exactly is he? Is he coming towards me? Is he going towards the other guy? I don't know exactly where he is. Oh, there he is. I see him at this point, and he's heading towards my cruiser, the last cruiser that's on my team, on the other side of the island right here. So, yep, he starts sailing towards him. I'm sailing towards this enemy cruiser right here at full speed ahead. I get my torpedoes ready, but I can't shoot because the island obviously is in the way. So I have to wait till I get on the other side of the island where I can actually be able to shoot and hopefully hit something in the process. Excuse me. So yep, I'm progressing. This island is super long and it's taking forever, to bypass it, to get past it. But I'm getting myself ready. As you can see, my cruiser and this enemy cruiser right here are already exchanging fire with one another. So finally, I'm on the other side of the island. I start firing off salvo after salvo of torpedoes at the enemy cruiser. I warn my guy that I popped off torpedoes, to make sure that he gets out of the way, because the last thing I want is him to take friendly fire. And at this point, he and I are on the last fraction of health, and one torpedo into him, and he's done for. So yep, I start turning to the port. By this point, the Allied cruiser on my team was sunk, but the enemy cruiser is taking a beating, as you can tell. So I start firing off torpedoes, salvo after salvo. Hopefully, I'm out of range, but I still end up shooting, and I start taking fire, serious fire. I fire one last salvo, and boom, the guy scored a direct hit on me, and I ended up getting sunk in the process. And the only person left on our team is this battleship right here. So just watch this. This is actually pretty good. The battleship knows he's over there, and of course the enemy cruiser knows my battleship, my team's battleship, is coming after him. So, and just watch this. Is actually pretty good. I watched to see if my torpedoes, do they hit anything, and of course not, because I was out of range. Yep. So just watch this. I progress back. But at this point, it's a game of cat and mouse again. So we're watching. I'm watching. Is he going to hit anything? Is he going to find him before the match ends? We don't know. Luckily, in this case, he did. So yep, he gets his guns ready. As you can tell, there's the enemy cruiser. He starts firing, and he actually hits them. It doesn't really do that much damage. Misses. And just watch this. I love this part. He fires off this battleship, the Carolina. He fires off one salvo, and boom, just finishes off that enemy cruiser. So that's it for this World of Warships video, YouTube. And again, take care, and I'll see you all next time when I make a video.